Welcome everyone to another episode of the Big Brain MMA podcast. I'm your host, like always, full-time better, Big Steve. Episode 80, UFC Vegas 76, Strickland, Magomedov. Another decent card for a fight night. Not bad from a viewing perspective. Betting, not so much. We'll see. First comment, Big Steve's dad. Hello, son. Hello, dad. Let's get straight into the overview, shall we? Last week, few cards. PFL, we made 1,700. Hit Renfro, Salawi under 2.5 rounds, which is generous. I was waiting for 1.5 rounds. 1,740 there. I played Miranda for half a unit to win 825 at dog odds. I played Collard KO decision, $1.66. I thought he was due for a KO. Lost a little bit on the Malatov sub. Lost a little bit on Burgos finish. And I had some Degen parlays, with BKFC and Malatov and whatnot. I just tailed some of the dudes in Discord. So yeah, it's good to make that profit on a card like that where I barely had any. Didn't really like much for betting. On Ryzen, we broke even. I had Kubo was my biggest bet. Well, I didn't break even. I made a little bit of 100 and something profit. 1,000 to win 870. Kubo credential kickboxer against some bum karate guy. And then lost the parlay with Yachi, who dominated against Zach Zane, and then Gerdham, the Aussie dude, got twisted. That was annoying because there were so many good parlay pieces on that card, so many squash matches, and I just ended up picking the worst one. I didn't get a chance to tape the rest of them. And then UFC, let's get into the UFC, shall we? Dumas was the first play, very easy. Hindsight should have been at least, half a unit. I had a quarter. Didn't expect Brunno to flake that much. Live bet Emma's after round 2 at Pick'em. I thought there was a high chance it was 2-0 up. Even after that, he won round 3 clear and lost the split. It is what it is. That's the game. Had a horrible bet on Trevor Peak. Lost that. That's one of the only bets I regret. I played Joshua Wan by decision at $6. Happy with that. Could have been more. I don't know why I didn't play Ricci. I talked about it on the podcast. Cashed out. Went exactly as I thought. Just the more physical, the more busy girl. A little bit annoyed at that. I did live bet Robertson after round 2 at $6. She won round 2. I thought it was going to be a split. She got to take that in the third. A little bit unlucky. One of the judges gave her round 1 as well, so could have been a split. Nothing on the Rebecca, nothing on Brown, nothing on Liam Magny. I was pretty happy with my reads on these fights. Magny a juice, bad bet. Bruno Silva, a little bit on his KO. I'm annoyed that I didn't hammer the under there. That should have been one of my biggest bets. Instead, I parlayed it with Santos, which was sloppy. I didn't think there was any value on him. He lost. I had half a unit on the under. I won that thanks to Nama killing him. And then I went to sleep. I had nothing for the rest of the thing. It was 1 a.m. So another sloppy card. I lost 900, which it's not bad, but I mean, you look at the card. I got Van right. I got Dumas right. Got robbed on Emma's. Just didn't play Ricci for whatever reason, and horrible bet on Peak. And Bruno Silva could have hit that round 1 KO. Yeah, just unfortunate to lose. So still a little bit up from PFL, and then I think I was on like 29 something thousand. I really wanted 30,000, so I looked into some Fury FC, and I hit 2 dogs on Fury FC for the first time. I hit Efrain against Mana Martinez, knocked him out nice and easy round 1, and I hit DeVale against Aswell, who's I don't understand why he was minus 200. First time taping that guy. Won 337 on that. So they were both quarter units. I won 740 off that, just enough to get me over 30,000. So very happy with that. Over the moon. I made 42,000 last year, so I could potentially break that this next month. I also did a 6-month overview. I think that's very important for people to do. It changed my gambling when I was having a really bad year 2 years ago, and I did an overview and I just fixed my mistakes and made 29,000 for the last 6 months. So it's always good to stop, go back, go through every losing event or every event you could have profited more, write down what's wrong, go over it and go, all right, these are the things I'm going to fix for the next 6 months. It's a bit confronting looking at your mistakes, but if you see him event after event, he just hits you, and it's like, man, I don't want to make these mistakes. I'm not going to talk about it too much. It's on my Twitter. I threw away money a few times this year, quite a lot. I went through a tilting stage. So if I was a little bit sloppy, who knows? A little bit less sloppy, who knows where I would be? So, but yeah, 30,000, I can't complain. I'm happy. Like and subscribe, but let's get into it. Alrighty. First fight, Guram Kutateladze, Elves Brener. What is there to say? A big step down for Kutateladze, a big step up for Brener. I live bet Brener against Zubaira. I didn't think he won that. That was just a coin flip robbery. Zubaira did everything he could to lose that fight. Brenner's, one of these crappy Brazilian guys that I like. They make a lot of improvements. They're raw. But, I mean, Kutateladze here, man, he can shut his grappling down. He can bust him up. Kutateladze can be a little bit low volume. He can slow down a bit, but he hits like a truck. I put him in a parlay with Rinat later on. It does feel a little bit stupid, a little bit square, but I didn't overthink it. I just put it in, and I also got Rinat straight in case I change my mind and don't want to risk it for $1.20. But yeah, I don't want to waste too much time on this fight. Over-unders, I have no strong takes. If I have time, I'll look into it deep. But yeah, let's move on. Guram plus over 1.5, $1.72. That's not bad. That's not bad if I think he can survive. A lot of people saying Brener is durable, but he's also very hittable, so that's something to keep in mind. Alexandr, Romanov, Blagoy, Ivanov. I see a bit of a recency bias, against Romanov. People betting Blagoy because of how bad he looked against Volk. People think Ivanov can now finish him because supposedly he's a flake. I'll be careful if I was those people. I mean, you look at Romanov's career, man. His cardio, yeah, it's bad, but if he comes in shape, it's not that bad. It's not so bad that someone like Ivanov, who's old and not much of a finishing threat, is just going to run through him, right? He's got round 2 KOs over Martinez. He won round 2 clean against Juan Espino, and Espino is a lot more physical and can match the size of Romanov. He's another strong wrestler, and Romanov was taking him down. He was getting up in round 3 when completely gassed. Bandera he beat up in round 2, and he had so much ground and pound output. Marcin Tybura, right, beat him up in round 1. Round 2 was competitive in the striking. Round 3 was competitive in the striking, that it should have been a split. You're telling me Blagoy Ivanov is going to finish him when, Tybura has a lot more volume on the feet and a lot better cardio, and that was at elevation too. So I think it's a bit of recency bias. Obviously I don't have any confidence in playing anything until I see the weigh-ins at least. I went on his Instagram. He looks, in better shape than that last fight. But I'm just going to wait. I mean, Blagoy is small margins, right? He is a slight underdog here, but he's small margins, and there's no way you can play him pre-bet. You have to wait till round 1 because I take Ivanov extensively in the Marcin Tybura fight to see his takedown defense because there's not much in the UFC. Even found his one loss to Volkov, hardly. I can't remember how I found it. It was some dodgy website. And yeah, I do have a sneaky suspicion that his takedown defense is not the greatest. I'm pretty sure Derek Lewis took him down, or Tai Taiwas, I can't remember. Rogerio Lima picked him up and slammed him in round 3. Tybura took him down in round 3. That's the only time he attempted it, and he didn't get up. It took him a while to get up. So he's old now. He slows down a bit. He's a lot more flat-footed. Romanov is a lot more athletic, a lot stronger, a lot more physical, younger. He's got nice kicks on the outside, very snappy kicks. He's got serviceable boxing, Ivanov, but it's a shit show fight. I wouldn't be so quick to fade Romanov against someone like Blagoy, who has such small margins, and I do feel like Romanov can take him down. But yeah, at the moment, I'm just waiting for the weigh-ins. Maybe some overs have my attention. Live bet Ivanov. Maybe even Romanov gets my money. It's be a bounce back spot for him. Joanderson, Brito, Westin, Wilson. Yeah, this is a squash match. I mean, I don't agree with some of the people saying Westin Wilson is so bad. I've seen worse people on Contender Series, honestly. I've seen worse matchups in Contender Series between two dudes that are worse than Westin Wilson. But yeah, this is just a levels fight. Brito can KO him. Brito can finish him, submit him. Uh, I played some round one Brito for $1,000. It was $1.58. I only expected minus 200. It's been a while since I hit one of those. They've been, I hit the McKenny one. I hit the Bo Nickel one, minus 200 over Jamie Pickett. It seems like a square bet at minus 200, but Brito runs through people in the first half of the round, man. 40 seconds of Chepe, we've seen him not be chinny against Peak. Under a minute against Fio, who's very durable, right? He was waiting for the overhand, right? He was looking for the neck of Algeo in under 2.5 minutes. He got Alexander's neck in under 2.5 minutes. So I think he's going to come out here and look for the finish. Yeah, don't want to talk about it too much. And I've got the under 1.5 at $1.43. Again, it could be juicy, but I could see it 75, 80%. Even if he gets out around one, yeah, short notice for Wilson. I mean, if it goes over, so be it. I'm happy to play it. A little bit of 1,000 on round one, Brito, and 1,500 on the 1.5. I do have to improve my staking. I do have to make more profit monthly. So it starts with this fight. Squash match. Let's see what happens. Ivana, Petrović, Luana, Carolina. First fight I taped, people telling me, look at Carolina, look at Carolina. Obviously, I had to look at Ivana because I know Carolina well. I lied better a few times. I lost money trying to fade her, against Batalio at Juice. But yeah, I did lie better against Lupita. What it comes down to, Ivana is, I get that she has a lot of holes. You see it on tape, and she's barely beating some of these fighters. But, end of the day, she's winning, and the best comparison I see on tape, she reminds me of Casey O'Neill. Another girl with a tons of holes, and people rushing to fade her, myself included. But she has the cardio, the intangibles, and once she gets on top, she does her best work. So, Carolina has okay takedown defense when you try to clinch take her down with a body lock. She has a good whizzer. She's strong. She's not very athletic, but I think she's getting stronger. And surprisingly, in this matchup, I think she actually might be more physical than Ivana. But she can be taken down if you go for a double or a different kind of takedown. She doesn't have the best balance. Molly McCann was throwing her around, picking her up, and high amplitude slamming her. Joanne Wood tripped her a few times. So she can be caught with unorthodox takedowns, and Ivana will shoot. So this one is a bit, I do have some money on Carolina, but I bet a line, but I don't know if I'll keep it. This one is one of those ones where, Ivana's probably going to be losing. She's going to be getting outstruck. But when she gets on top, it's going to be the round and maybe the fight. Because Lupita fight, Poliana Botelho fight, she gets taken down and she's ending rounds in mount and getting saved by the belt from armbar attempts. And Poliana is only a purple belt. Lipski knee biter instantly. So it's going to be sweaty, and Petrović throws ground and pound. She's very aggressive on top. So it just depends on your risk management. It depends on your risk management. I mean, there's probably still value, unless, Rinat gets a takedown in round one and runs through her, then there is no value whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, I still have to decide what I really cap this fight at. Is it 60% Ivana? If that's the case, then I have a little bit of value and maybe I just leave a quarter unit. But yeah, if Luana can get taken down, not finished, and go back on the feet, then yeah, she's probably going to do better in rounds 2 and 3. Just depends if she can survive. But her bottom game is horrible. I just hate betting on those, even if they're big underdogs, on someone that is doing well, but once they're on their back, it just all falls apart. But yeah, it's definitely dog or pass. All right. Speaking of dog or pass, let me just address the comments first. Kurt, how are you, sir? Can't wait to hear your thoughts about Rinat. We'll get there. Looking to lead off a lot of parlays with Rinat, unless you can convince me I'm batshit crazy, which I am. You sure are, mate. You sure are. Wouldn't have it any other way. Carolina, popular dog played by people this week. It is, but the line's not moving much. Kai Agakai, how are you, Big Serb? Not too bad, mate. Thanks for asking. First time seeing you in live in a while. Luana, split decision, 800 isn't bad. That could get my money. I finally have split decisions on Bet Online. I could join the people. Alrighty, next one. So Yana Santos, Karol Rosa. Obviously, a bit of money came in on Yana. Karol Rosa, not really trustworthy as a favorite. Something about her, she's got a lot of skills. Good volume, power, good Muay Thai, calf kicks. And, she's technical and she's got good takedowns, jiu-jitsu on top. It's the IQ. It's not very physical, making errors, not separating herself a lot of the times. And, yeah, not physical either. It's those things. But then you watch Yana and, she did look horrible against Holly Holm, and that's Holly Holm, right? Holly Holm is more in her prime at 40 than Yana is now. Now I do regret not at least parlaying Holly Holm with something. That was when I wasn't listening to my gut. I mean, she covered minus 200 easily. But you look at her career, she's getting finished by Ladd and Aldana. She's chinny, she's flaky. She got the crap beat out of her by Renault in rounds 2 and 3, and her face looked horrendous, busted up. I think she got a robbery against Caitlin Vieira. Yeah, I mean, she's never been that great. It's all she has is a lot of cage push, and she's very committed to the cage push, which she can probably get here against Karol Rosa. But I mean, Karol Rosa, even though getting dropped and losing a point to Lena Landsberg, she still covered her line in one unanimous decision. Yana Santos does have horrible takedown defense herself, so if Rosa wants to play that path, she can probably cover this line. I'm actually more considering Karol Rosa than Yana Santos as a dog, just because I like her game more. Yana's path is just to outwork her against the cage. That's it. And we've seen Norma do it. But yeah, round 3, Rosa dropped Norma, and I think Norma is a lot better, a lot more physical, stronger, better boxing. Whereas Yana is just a typical female fighter. No power on her strikes, doesn't sit on anything. Too reckless, throws naked kicks and falls down on her ass. So it's Karol Rosa or pass for me. I'm just waiting for a better line. Hopefully more money comes in on Yana, but it seems to have settled here. I don't know if I want to force it. Could be pulling my hair out. Maybe live bet Karol Rosa after some early success from Yana against the cage. Here we go now. Kevin Lee versus Rinat Fakhretdinov. So like I said, Kurt must have missed it at the start. I already did parlay Rinat with Guram, and I have a single play as well, just in case I change my mind on that juicy parlay. What it comes down to, I think Rinat is just the bigger, better, less washed version of Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee is more athletic, I'll give him that. When taping this fight, I really didn't want the Diego Sanchez fight to influence me, my opinion. So what I did was I went back to the RDA fight. Right, I went back to the RDA fight before he had 2 knee reconstructions. Right, so let's say more of his prime. So I watched that fight, and I mean, first I remember him being 2-0 up and RDA breaking him down later on. But RDA was taking him down and cracking him early in that round. So I'm like, man, these things he still had back in the day. The lack of defense, the chinniness, the flakiness. Smiling when he's getting cracked, getting taken down by RDA, who's a career lightweight, and he went back to lightweight, so he is a lightweight. So yeah, I mean, that's all I had to see, and then eventually he gassed. He's a good back taker. He's athletic. Even that Gregory Gillespie fight, no takedowns were landed. He was so much bigger than Gregory. I've never been a fan of his striking. He kind of forces and pushes his strikes. He's got long reach. But yeah, he doesn't have good head movement. He's there to be hit. And then you watch, the Daniel Rodriguez fights, and there used to be a time when Kevin Lee will take you down, and he will be like, the black Khabib. He would it's a back take or ground and pound, and he will run through you. Now it just means nothing. Daniel Rodriguez had his back take and he survived. had his back taken around 2. He got out of it. So yeah, he's just, even Diego Sanchez got his back taken and he survived. And you get to that Diego Sanchez fight and he's lighting him up. Diego Sanchez looks like he's bothering him with the body kicks. And 2 knee reconstruction surgeries before Rodriguez, and then he blows his knee against Sanchez again. I just think it's the best thing about Kevin Lee was his explosiveness, and after so many injuries, I think he's lost a bit of that. Rinat is just, he's not amazing, but he's a middleweight, ex-middleweight. He's bigger. He's 6 foot against 5'10", 5'9", and he can just put on the grind. And I see this going like the Andreas Michailidis fight. Michailidis is also a big middleweight whose skill, whose strength is explosiveness and wrestling until he gasses. That's why he had some good positions and reversals against Rinat while he was fresh. But at the end of the day, Rinat still won all 3 rounds and he 10-8'd him and he beat the crap out of him and he beat the piss out of Brian Battle too. I think in today's age, Brian Battle beats current Kevin Lee. He's just that washed. I almost got talked out of betting him against Daniel Rodriguez. People were saying 1 takedown and it's finished. I'm not falling for it again. It's not the same Kevin Lee. So I got Rinat straight and in the parlay, but I'll only have 1 unit. I don't want to overdo it. All right, Evan, I'll chuck you in, mate. Give me a sec. I just wanted to finish this breakdown. I'll go on. I'll send it to you on Twitter, mate. So we're going to bring in a guest, guys. Last minute guest. Let's do it. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he'll make things fun. Just kidding, mate. Just kidding, Evan. Alrighty, sent you the link. Let's go over the comments before Evan jumps in. KK Agakai, salute for telling the truth about Luca's new shirts. Look, man, I've got a graphic design business, been doing this for 10 years, and I think a lot of people on Twitter know I do this. I'm just saying he could have asked me to do it first. I'm being honest with the man. I talked to the guy, so I was being honest with the man. I think, pretty awful designs. I think he did it himself. But hey, if he's selling those shirts, more power to him. What else we got? That's it. Evan, bro, don't push you out. He's probably doing his hair. Alrighty. Next fight, he can jump in when he jumps in. Nursulton, Ruziboev, Bruno Ferreira. So this fight, I initially taped a few fights of Ruziboev, and I was like, can't get a read on this guy. Not the best level of competition. They're taking him down, and he's instantly subbing him. That's not going to happen to Brunno, and I'm obviously I'm not going to get a read here. So one thing I've improved on this year is just moving on when I should move on, especially with a lot of cards, especially with a lot of regionals. And then I revisited, came back, and I did about more than 15 Ruziboev fights, and he's decent. Not the worst fighter. Takedown defense is atrocious. It hasn't been fixed. Even in his last fight, he can't stop a takedown. It might be something he doesn't train because he's so confident in his jiu-jitsu. I mean, I'm seeing him, almost getting triangled by Imrahim Mane in Brave FC. He likes to get put in triangles, and then he looks to powerbomb people out of it. He's done it a couple of times. Bruno Ferreira has a triangle in his record. He might be a black belt. I'm not sure. He has good jiu-jitsu. Maybe a stab is a sneaky spot. Ultimately, I told my mate when Bruno Ferreira was $1.60, what do you think? He can get easy takedowns here. Bruno Ferreira, he gets high amplitude takedowns. He's literally the Hulk. And then he beats the piss out of people who ground and pound, especially when they go for subs. But yeah, I've been flip-flopping. I think Ruziboev has the more complete stand-up game. He actually has, long punches, spinning back kick. He's clean. He's long. I don't know if he can be knocked out, so I don't know about the juiced unders or Bruno Ferreira, Romanov 2 KO. But Bruno Ferreira can KO anyone. He hits that hard. And then I woke up and my friend said he put 2 units on Bruno Ferreira, which is, he's got $1,000 units. And then he was minus 200. And I'm like, you know what? That's still value. So I bet it. And then I kept thinking to myself, how's this going to look if he extends? Ruziboev, gets taken down, but then he gets sweeps. I've seen Ferreira lose position, get swept. What if this is a drawn out, whatever fight, and he can't knock out Ruziboev? So I was like, I don't know. I don't want to force anything on this fight. But I mean, it should be Ferreira's fight to lose. He's composed. He's not a brawler. He sets his shots up well. But I've seen him get cracked and look by a longer dude on the regionals and kind of wobble. He struggles with dudes taller than him, but he's accustomed to it. So I don't want to say dog or pass. It's a favorite or pass, but it's just a weird fight. Weird fight. I don't want to force anything. All right, the boy Evans in here. Man, the guy looks like Strickland. Jesus Christ. Especially with those shades. What's up, Evan?
Steve, how you doing, brother?
Not bad, man. Thanks for popping in. Nice little surprise.
Thanks for having me. Dude, I wish I hit that Brunno line earlier in the week.
Oh, Pickham would have been beautiful.
I didn't know what to do initially. Like, I was so confused by this Uzbekistanian guy, but it just became clearer and clearer as the week went on that I think he's more of a fraud than anything else. But what are you going to do? Pass fight at this point.
Oh, shit happens, man. I mean, there's still a chance that he's not a fraud, man. When you tape 15 of his fights, is like, one of my friends even said to me, do you know if this guy's royalty in Uzbekistan? Because they all just seem so fixed. Like, people are...
He has 1.3 million followers on Instagram. Like, there's something weird with this dude. I don't know.
Which is what made me want to lay the juice. Usually when something like that's going on, you're right, just fading these guys. You just can't stop a takedown. Like, why can't Brunno just take him down for 3 rounds, even if he's gassed?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. The price, I'm not going to force it. I've been saved before by the price, and this price at minus 200 is telling me don't do it. So
the reason I didn't play Brunno is because I hadn't taped Brunno yet. And then once the line got crazy, I just said, fuck it. I didn't even tape Brunno.
Ah, you know who Brunno is, mate, surely.
Yeah, well, we know the archetype, little bowling ball with big power, but he's a good grappler. Like, I think he just takes him down at will.
Yeah. I don't think we've seen someone like Brunno in a while, man. I think people are going to be shocked how hard this guy can actually hit. Like, his ground and pound is insane. I'm so shocked. Do you want to do like some quick picks for these ones that I've gone through?
What did you cover so far? Oh yeah, I played the over in the Brener Guram fight. I think Brener's solid. I was gonna hammer Brener against Jordan Levitt. Obviously, totally different level of competition here. I think it's wide. I don't want to play Brenner's money line though, so I think he's good enough to survive. I don't think Guram is much of a finisher, and I think Brenner's kind of an ace on the ground. So I kind of like that fight to go over. The Romanov fight, no. Let's see what he looks like at weigh-in. Brito, come on. I played Carolina. Did you bet? We didn't really get to talk about it. Did you do anything with that fight, Carolina and Petrović?
Yeah, I said I put 1,000 on her, and then I taped it. I beat it like by 20 cents, and it's not moving from there. And I just kind of felt like it's a Casey O'Neill dynamic, She has holes, but once she gets on top, it could be downhill very quickly. And it's not like Carolina is some sort of finisher, so she has 3 rounds to get taken down, get beaten up, and yeah, it's one of those volatile fights. It feels volatile to me.
Yeah, I played Carolina for like a unit.
I wouldn't have that much.
I just wasn't impressed with Ivana's tape. Like, some of her takedown entries were just so terrible. But we'll see. Low level WMMA.
Exactly.
Karol, Rosa, Yana, Santos. I think Yana is probably done, but I'm not playing Karol at that money line. I played Rinat minus 190 for like a unit and a half. Kevin Lee, I think, might take round 1. Kevin Lee, I think, is in a vacuum the more talented fighter. I think he's a more athletic guy, but again, if his knees could be shot, he's been massive layoff. And I'm not sold on Rinat yet, but I think he probably melts him as the fight gets extended.
Yep.
So yeah,
that makes sense to me. I would say his knees are definitely shot, not probably. But
Yeah.
let's move on. Benoit Saint-Denis, Ismael Bonfim. I'll take this one away if you don't mind, mate.
Go ahead.
Yeah, last one I taped. I'm not really interested. It wasn't moving. Not like I was going to parlay Bonfim or anything. And I'm left with a little bit of I don't know, like an itching feeling of maybe putting a little bit on Benoit Saint-Denis. He does have some holes with his defense, which is a bit concerning. I mean, Bonfim has all the tools to shut him down. Decent takedown defense, good counters. Technical boxing, blah blah blah. But yeah, he's just Benoit's a dog, man, and he's ever since he started training full time, his UFC tape doesn't really reflect his regional tape, where he's a completely different fighter, and it's kind of reminding me a bit of Khabib now, like with that first win after Zaleski, just how he gave him no space, and just constant takedowns. The pressure was heavy, and the guy just gave up. He couldn't handle it anymore, and he just gave his back up. So he's a lot more control oriented now, and he's a tank, man. He's tank. He's durable. You can see he's a dog. So he's a guy that's going to fight for your money. And the only reason I'm considering him, despite his striking holes, is because Ismael Bonfim, he's not like his brother. He's not like a potent finishing threat. He's more patient and he's more smart. And that's you like to bet on that, but he doesn't. Sometimes he doesn't have the biggest. Doesn't separate himself the most. It's a close decision where he wins 29-28, and he's fighting good guys, so it's fair enough. So I feel like if Benoit can make this a war, get a couple of takedowns, get a lot of cage push time, because Bonfim does get stuck against the cage. He's got good takedown defense, but it's against the cage a lot. Maybe if Bonfim drops for a guillotine, I've seen him drop for guillotines before. I've seen him slow down before in rounds 3. Yeah, I just feel like there could be potential for some dog value. Just a crazy war. But Benoit's going to fight for your money. That's all you need to know. What about you, man?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. A lot of sharp guys that I respect are taking a shot on Benoit here. Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth a shot. I think the line is getting a little out of hand. I do think Bonfim is just really good, though. It's interesting because, I remember taping his regional footage and not being that impressed. He throws, a really janky overhand right, but he looked so phenomenal in the McKinney fight in the first round, right? McKinney, if nothing else, is a bit of a problem for guys in round 1. He's huge. He is a good wrestler. He did everything right there. He McKinney got in on his hips. He stayed composed. He kind of McKinney kind of got his back off of a failed takedown attempt at one point. And he just took a breath. He just looked so good in there, and he just kept putting McKinney on the back foot. I understand it's a different fight. I think Bonfim's really good. I think he's a much better striker here. I think Benoit needs to fight the perfect fight. I don't think brawling is going to work out well for him here. So I actually took one of the guys in your Discord mentioned a little same game parlay, a two bet whatever, to get the line down to -120, which was Bonfim's money line and then over 5.5 minutes. So to your point, Benoit is a dog. He is going to fight for your money. I kind of need him to do that here because I did put a unit on that. -120 for, Bonfim's money line, and just basically for it to go into round 2. I think that's how I'm playing it. But it is going to be a really fun fight.
That's pretty safe, man. You should be right. You should be right there. What was I going to say? I think that McKinney fight was more the way McKinney came out. He didn't fight to his best potential, and then he was always going to lose that round 1 if he's going to go technical against Bonfim. But yeah, Bonfim is very good, man. He's good everywhere. All right, let's move on. Ariane, Lipski, Melissa, Gatto. I'll let you take this one away.
All right, dude. So I played Gatto at -160, and it was -160 for a little bit there. Obviously, it's gotten massively steamed. What sold me on Gatto was the Cortez fight. She landed some good takedowns against Cortez. She slammed Cortez in round 2. Cortez is a physical girl at the weight, for that weight class. I thought Lipski looked phenomenal against J.J. Aldrich. I think we all agree she looked that was the best we've ever seen her. She looked like a different fighter. But JJ Aldridge can kind of, she's so slow on the feet. And I was shocked that Lipski had so much success in the clinch. She looked more physical than Aldridge. There might have been something wrong with Aldridge that night. I don't know. But I think Gatto is going to be too physical for her. I think she's strong as shit. She's strong in the clinch. And I think she's going to get on top. We've mostly seen Gatto on her back, but that's against Tracy Cortez. That's against Sijara Eubanks. These girls have strong hips. Lipski does not have strong hips. So I think Gatto's going to be able to move her around the way she wasn't able to move Cortez and Sarge as much. So I don't expect to see Gatto on her back, really. But even if she is, she swept Sijara Eubanks in round 2. She's dangerous off her back. I mean, the line is probably accurate now, I would say, but I got minus 160. And then on FanDuel, I played Gatto submission or decision minus 130. Today I played it. I'm having a little buyer's remorse only because Lipski could be TKO'd. I mean, the Montana De La Rosa fight, like, that's kind of a scary look in hindsight. But yeah, I think Gatto pretty much has her covered. What about you?
Yeah, I also hit that early line. I don't know if it was minus 160. It's $1.57. It's at least 10 cents better. And I did my tape, and unfortunately, I did it like on Sunday after the UFC. That taping right after watching 8 hours of UFC is just rough. I need a break, and I started to kind of peer off. Like, my attention span was going down, and I just left not overly confident about my my bet. But the more I'm thinking about it now, I think I'm just going to keep it. Obviously, didn't get a chance to give it to anyone of the boys in Discord, so it is what it is. I'll have to ride that one solo. But yeah, I agree with a few things you said. I mean, in terms of her last opponent, JJ's always been bad with the physical girls. There was nothing wrong with her in that fight. I mean, we've seen her flake against Barber. I mean, I regret not playing JJ there. I was close to playing her after retaping her versus Casey, and she implemented a wrestling heavy game plan against Courtney Casey, and it went to a split decision because she's so unathletic that just Courtney Casey almost beat her just with the athleticism. And I was like, man, Lipski's like 10 times the fighter in terms of, power and whatnot if she just fights composed. But I just didn't know if, Lipski will fight composed. We've seen her get hit once and everything goes out the window, which I think is still possible here. It's just, fighters like Mandy Bohm and JJ Aldridge are not going to bring that out of her. And in between there, she got knocked out by Priscilla Cachoeira in 1-1. It's the same old Lipski. She's still chinny. She's still flaky. And it's mostly on the ground, but no one's really taken her there. I also thought about that sub decision, but I think the KO is live too, so I understand you having buyer's remorse. Especially because Melissa Gatto, isn't it funny? I just want to say, isn't it very funny that Melissa Gatto's first 2 UFC wins are by KO? It's just hilarious. The one with one by a broken arm in between rounds, and the other one over the most durable girl in the division from a teep to the gut. It's just hilarious. It's just a meme city. But yeah, I mean, she does actually have a good 1-2 down a pipe. She hurt Leonardo, and she was wobbling Cortez on the feet, man. She was lighting her up like a Christmas tree, which makes me think that was another reason that I kind of didn't like my play. She showed some bad IQ there. She was lighting up Cortez, and then she forced grappling, took the back, and got reversed every single time in each round and lost that decision. So it's like, if you're lighting her up on the feet, just keep it there and win the fight. Instead, she lost the fight by getting the back and getting reversed 3 times. So, it happened to you in rounds 1, happened to you in rounds 2. Don't do it in round 3. She did it in round 3 again. So that's what I was like, that's some bad IQ that I don't want from a favorite, and she's easy to take down herself. Maybe she gets knocked down by Lipski, and Lipski just sits in her guard. Lipski's never been submitted, believe it or not, which is crazy. I actually don't think her jiu-jitsu is the worst. I've seen her against that jiu-jitsu girl that was on short notice. What's her name? The Padua. She's a black belt, and she kind of stayed in her guard and stayed safe. Dropped her, wrestled her. So I was like, is there a world where Lipski can stay on top and stay safe from Gatto, who just keeps hunting for submissions? and it looks like an awful bet. But then again, I'm like, I think I'm giving Lipski too much credit here. If it's on the feet, I think she's going to get lit up by Gado. Gado's got good punches. If he ends up on the ground, surely Gado can sweep her, reverse her, or at least lose one round and then get on top of her herself. And surely the kind of back and forth fight it's going to be, we'll see some flakiness from Lipski again. So I think I'm just going to leave it, man. It's only a unit. I'm just going to leave it, not overthink it. I think you see Gado's fights, man, and she's got really bad matchups. Sijara Eubanks, one of the hardest girls to sub with good wrestling. Sijara was like poised to take down Gado for 3 rounds and win easily. And Tracy Cortez, another wrestler with elite submission defense, and that was close too. And now she's having a bit of a step down in competition. So yeah, I'll go Gado too. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just going to leave the unit. Fuck it. Let's go through the comments. What do we got? Kai, I love that you're going for a walk and stuff, man. Very, very impromptu podcast. Just don't go into like a brothel or something because I might get shut down. I feel that over in the Saint-Denis fight is very generous, or at least was. Yeah, I mean, minus 200, but it probably hits. It's 1:30 a.m. I'm getting tired. We'll watch the rest of we don't need your life story. Mate, it's all good. PS, hit the like button. I agree with that. Big Steve's dad. One of my number one fans. He's in the other room and he's just watching my podcast. I love it. Played Griffin plus 350 at minus 130, so I expect him to get finished in round 3. So do I. Speaking of which, Max Griffin, Michael Morales, I'll take it away because I see you here having a great time there. I didn't expect to like Griffin. Started taping and I kind of liked him. And even though I hate the guy, he's just one of those mid-welterweight dudes that I hate taping and I hate betting. Dalby, Tim Means, Morono, they're all fight each other and I hate taping their fights. They just piss me off. Welterweight division just is annoying. But I think he's one of the better ones, He's the least washed guy. You give him another washed dude like Tim Means, Carlos Condit. He'll run through him, but, Morono, Oliveira beat him. I played him both there. He went to split with Thiago Alves. I think his recent run, people are just getting thinking he's better than he is, thinking he's in some sort of second prime. He's just getting bums, Brahim Haj and Kenan Song and a wash Carlos Condit. And the Neil Magny fight means nothing because we've seen Phil Rowe, go to a split decision with Neil Magny. Neil Magny is the worst. They either give him really hard opponents, like Shavkat, people that run through him, or they give him unranked guys that he barely beats to keep his ranking. They need to give him Jack Della, Luque, Sean Brady, and get him out of the fucking rankings. I'm sick of looking at him. But anyway, yeah, I just think, Max Griffin, he's durable, he's got power, he's got wrestling, he's got cardio, he skirts on the outside, he pulls people into his right hand, he calf kicks you. Michael Morales really heavy on the lead foot, and he's a little bit green. I was very impressed with his regional scene, very patient dude. A little bit more reckless in the UFC. I think it's just the bright lights, but he still stays composed. He's getting dropped, he's getting taken down, and he's just stays composed there for his age, and he's able to find the finish and able to find the wins. Adam Fugit, and Giles. Say what you will about Giles, but he's a veteran of the UFC, and Fugit is a big, tall dude that's super aggressive. It's gonna make it hard for a young dude to adjust. So I understand why people want to play Griffin, and it's why I wanted to play him too. But just the more I thought about it, I think this is a step up for Griffin as well. And he might have some success early. He always has a good round 1, and then he just kind of delves into like a point fighting match where he always goes to split because he doesn't separate himself. So at that point, I think Morales is going to come back into the fight. And the guy hits so hard, and he's so much longer. The intangibles are all on Morales' side. So I'm not advocating for a play on the juice. I'm not a juice boy. If you are, you know where to find those shirts. Get them before they run out. But yeah, it's dog or pass. Maybe I'll play Griffin if my hand gets forced, but I'm not feeling this dog. Maybe a live bet on Morales. He seems to come back into the fight. So what about you?
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm not a huge Max Griffin guy. He's getting up there in age. But I will say I'm not a huge, to this point anyway, he's so young, I'm not a huge Michael Morales guy either. For sure, all the intangibles are on his side. I think he's going to be bigger, more athletic. probably have a wrestling advantage, but there's something about his game to this point that I'm not overly impressed with him. So I kind of hope Morales kills Griffin, and then that sets up like a future fade equity spot. Because I don't know, it's like he lets guys into the fight. Like he let Adam Fugit into the fight. He kind of lets guys dictate the pace a little bit. So I'm not really sold on Morales. So I don't hate the dog shot on Griffin for those who are taking it, the dog hunters out there, but it's not for me. I'm just passing.
Fair. I feel like I said, Fugit was very aggressive and he just put him on the back foot, whereas Griffin just skirts the octagon, and it's going to give him the fight that Morales wants. Morales wants a patient striking fight. But yeah, I agree with everything, man. I agree. All right, the people's main event. I'll give you the honors as a special guest. Damir Ismagulov versus Grant Dawson. You behind this line movement, or you waiting to snipe?
I don't have anything on this fight. I think it's a fun fight. There was a time where I wanted to fade Dawson, and now I've kind of come around on his upside a little bit. But if I have gun to my head, if I'm betting this fight, I'm betting Damir. Just because we've seen Dawson slow down before. I think Damir is much better on the feet. Like, he'll just land that jab all day. But again, he's such a jab merchant. It's not like he's going to land anything heavy. But I think if this plays out for extended minutes on the feet, I think Damir runs away on volume. It all comes down to, can Damir stop the takedowns? And Damir is a good wrestler, but so is Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson's a force at 55. It's crazy this guy ever tried to fight at featherweight. It's a pass for me. I don't know. I mean, I kind of think over. I don't have any parlays on the card, but I don't know what the over 2.5 is. I haven't looked, but I'm sure it's super chalky. It just feels so safe to me. I mean, how does this finish? Damir doesn't have a ton of finishing upside on the feet, unless Dawson completely death gasses, or if Dawson gets a back take and somehow Damir gets choked. I can't really see it finishing. You know what? I actually did bet something. I bet ends by split, plus 550 or something. I think it's a close fight. I think you're going to see Damir win the exchanges on the feet, but I think Dawson will have some success with regards to offensive wrestling. So I took ends by split for half a unit, plus 550. I don't know. I could see it being boring, but a high level boring. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree on that last part. It's definitely going to be a high-paced fight, just because that's the only way Dawson knows how to fight. Yeah, man. I got a unit on Dawson at that early line again. Not because I wanted to lock it in or anything. It's just people in the Discord, people I respect said, look into this fight. This is going to be a bet for me. And another dude that's not in the Discord, it's probably one of the better touts out there, but he doesn't have a Twitter or anything. And I said, all right, I'll look into it. It's two people that have said something to me. Even though, I know Dawson well, and it doesn't seem like something I would like. Now I'm taping it, and it's, I had this memory that Dawson just improved quite a bit, because, I remember him not being the greatest, against Santos and Nad Narimani and, Ricky Glenn, obviously. And I'm just like, I have a feeling he's improved, and that's why he's the play now. And look, it's the same old dude, right? It's the same old dude. He's getting lit up by Gordon, and he can't really consolidate position. He keeps putting himself in guillotines. It's a really scrambly fight. And Gordon is not the best dude, man. Gordon loves to give up his back. He gave it instantly to Selecki. He's fighting these jiu-jitsu grapplers, the backpack, and he just gives his back up instantly. He's not athletic. He's not explosive. I think it was a very good matchup for Dawson, and he still couldn't really hold him down, right, until he backpacked him. And I think his striking is improved. I think he's better at lightweight than featherweight. His offensive striking, he throws the overhand right. He spams, calf kicks and throws kicks like a chick, constantly. Good volume. But the defense is still the same, man. He's still getting dropped instantly by Marco Madsen. That hasn't been fixed, and that's going to be an issue here. And then, I went to tape Ismagulov, and I know why the line has moved here, right? Obviously, it's that Arman Sarukian fight, and I expect it to be the same. But honestly, taping that fight, made me want to play Ismagulov, right? So that all of round one, Armin is struggling to get a takedown, man. He's struggling. He's going for it. Damir's getting up. Damir throws a judo toss on him against the cage, the same way Leonardo Santos did it twice to Granderson. Mounts him. Obviously, Armin gets up. And the round ends, and not one takedown was consolidated, and Damir was the one that landed the only takedown. And I'm like, cool. Like, what if Dawson goes through all that? Like, he's going to be super gassed, man. Like, Armin is just a complete different kettle of fish in terms of, like, physicality, wrestling, strength, durability as well, and cardio, right? He can do that for 3 rounds. He's got a bit of Khabib about him, which is why he's, so highly touted. Whereas Dawson, he's flopping to his back when he can't finish the takedown because he needs it on the ground, and he's confident in getting reversals. But when he did that against Ricky Glenn, he could not get up off his back, and he almost got finished. So if he flops to his back against Damir Ismagulov, like, he's going to get lit up with ground and pound. When Damir dropped Moises, he was just piecing him up with, like, punches to the gut, like brutal ground and pound. So it's a completely different level of control. And yes, he gave up his back, like, later on at the end of rounds 2 and 3 against Armin. But I think that was him just getting desperate. He wasn't giving up his back early. He's like, all right, now I have to give my back. I can't afford to, stay on my back. I have to just give up the back and stand up. And good move, because Armin's not a good body lock kind of guy. But you have to assume that Grant Dawson's going to be a better, body triangle kind of dude. You also have to assume that Damir is going to be prepared for that, and he's not going to be giving up his back, as much as these other dudes. But then again, it's some assumptions, right? It's some assumptions. I can also see this fight not having one takedown, right? 3 rounds of no takedown. And people are, I spoke to my mate that I respect. I said, well, what's your take behind this play? Because now I'm kind of feeling like playing Damir after tape, And start of the year, I would have got influenced by him. He's the guy that kept influencing me. But now I'm just, holding my ground. I said, let me know. And he goes, I just think there's a high chance that, Dawson can get a body triangle. And at that point, I have to play the dog. I'm like, that's fair enough. At that early line, it's dog or pass for me too. Just because, even though I think Damir could be a favorite, it's small margins, right? Someone that's going to be so aggressive with his takedowns. So yeah, I just left thinking, Damir's super hard to hold down, man, especially when he's fresh. Way better striking. There's so many holes on the Dawson side. I can't point out any holes from Damir's side other than the narratives, and maybe him being a little bit chinny because, he's been dropped by Elves. He's been dropped by Kutateladze. Again, these dudes, man, the level of competition is different. And then you ask people to tell you what Grant Dawson is going to do, and they're pointing to fights like Jared Gordon, Mark Madsen, Agassi, Greco guy. It's bad off his back, Leonardo Santos. And it's like, it's such a big jump in level of competition. Like, this is a massive step up. So if you take the narratives out, it seems to be just the Armin fight where Armin struggled all of round 1 and the narratives. So I'm just leaning, I'm leaning Damir now. I'm also like you. I don't have a hot take, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait. It's a pick-up now. I've still got that 1 unit on Dawson. I'm just going to wait on it. I'm trying to figure out a good way to make money on this fight. Whatever I do, it's not going to be like a hot take. It's not going to be like, it's 2 units on Damir or whatever. I'm just going to try to find a due way of squeezing out profit out of this. Some sort of hedge or some same game parlay, maybe Damir and starts rounds 2 and get profit either way, or like cash out one of my live bets halfway through the round for profit. But yeah, at this point, man, I think there's a bit of disrespect on Ismagulov's name.
Steve, what number did you get Dawson at?
Plus 130.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I agree with everything you said. You made some good points. And he also, Dawson, I fucking hate Dawson. Excuse my French, but like, he missed weight in the Madsen fight by like several pounds, even at lightweight, you know what I mean? Like, there's just something about Grant Dawson that I cannot stand. So I'm rooting for Damir, and like I said, gun to my head, I would bet Damir. But I think it's a super close fight, so little action on ends by split. Let's go.
Yeah, you probably can't go wrong with that. And also, if you listen to his interviews, this is not a man that's showing up for a paycheck, man. If you want to look at narratives. But yeah, let's move on. Great fight, though. Main event. We got Abus Magomedov versus Sean Strickland. I'll let you take this one away as well, man, just because you're actually featuring in the fight itself.
Yeah, no bet on this fight for me. I think it's been spoken about ad nauseum this week. Obviously, it's a massive step up in competition for Abus. I think Strickland runs away on volume if the fight gets extended. I think there might be a sweaty moment or two early for like the juice boys who are parlaying Strickland. I do think Abus has skills and is talented, and Strickland is pretty hittable, like chin up. He does that kind of Philly shell, tries to roll with punches and stuff, but he's there to be hit. And it's not like he's going to, show Abus a look that he hasn't seen before. Like he's going to work behind a jab and just keep volume in your face and look to put you on the back foot. So, I think it's a great, I'll look to live bet Strickland. Again, that's not a hot take. I just want to see him get through the first 5 to 7.5 minutes, and I think that he should be a big favorite from that point on in the fight. I didn't do a ton of tape on this one, but that's kind of how I am going to approach it. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, that's everything you say. It's the first one I taped, and I over taped it twice because Abus, man, is a bit of a mystery box, isn't he? I hammered him against Stolford's $1.40, which was just under -200. But I mean, tons of value on that still. Didn't expect a 19-second KO, but I was still freaked out. I think I had a unit and a half, not even 2 units, even though when you lay a juice on that, it should really be a smash spot, right? I was just freaked out because that Lewis Taylor fight, I mean, I watched every single one of his fights available online, again, 15 or so, and you just don't see him rock like that or rocked at all. And it's like, is that a chin issue that it might come back here? Or, and then the cardio, I revisited the cardio, and I definitely think that there might be some cardio issues. But then again, it's 2018. That's the last time we've seen it. And he's still 30-27ing these dudes. And then I think, will Sean Strickland push the cardio out of him? Yes, he fought like that against Imavov because he was sick of getting robbed by the judges, so he just came out swinging off the couch. But Strickland's admitted before to being scared to losing, and that's why he sticks to the jab and the leg kick. He doesn't want to make any mistakes, and that ultimately makes it too close for the judges. I was big on him against Hermanson, and my friend was like, "Yeah, it's 4-1 up. I wouldn't stress." But to my eyes, I was looking at it like a judge. I'm like, this could be 50-50. And then when I heard the split decision, I knew it. I was like, you can't just jab the leg kick and let Hermanson throw bombs at your chest and just avoid him and let him hit you on the chest, expecting the judges to think that it missed. It's high, powerful shot. And this guy, Abus, is going to have all the explosiveness early, the power, kicking, footwork. Strickland's going to try to parry all the kicks, with his chin up. And it's going to be some sweaty shit early. I really wanted to play that 240, the plus 140 on the boost. And then I just hesitated. I was like, I might not be able to live bet. I'll be at a wedding. I might catch the main event. I might not. And then, it moved. Someone put a bomb on a boost. And now it's like, no, I'm considering Strickland. But I'm also like, what if Strickland gets knocked out here? I know he's got a good chin. He has been knocked out before. It's not an amazing chin. And he's got, freaky defense. But it's just like, if I lay it on him, he might just, maybe a live bet is better. But, yeah, it's one of those. It's just, hopefully we'll see a 5-round performance from a boost, and then we get all the questions answered about his chin, about his cardio, and then we can bet this guy properly, in the future. But I'm actually now leaning Sean. I agree with what you said. I think if Sean fights with his pressure style, it's going to be his fight to lose, man. I also think Abus won't be able to get any wrestling going on Sheen. I think he's got elite takedown defense, and I think Sean might be able to do it on him. I think he's got underrated grappling. I've seen Abus taken down a lot in that KSW fight. He was taken down twice with ease. He got up easily, but I mean, he was starting to slow down. He hit a guillotine choke, put him out. So as long as Sean can stay away from guillotines, stay away from getting cracked, I think he can rough him up. He can wrestle him. He took Brendan Allen down with ease. He took Cannonier down in the first. I think it's Sean's fight to lose, man. It's just, money came in on Sean again, so I missed the best of both lines. I missed the 240, and then I missed the best Sean line. Someone played it, so it's just like, might still be value, man. Might still be value, but yeah, it's a pass for me at the moment. All the overs are juiced to the tits. I don't know. What can I play there? Sean in starts round 2 is going to be some good same game parlays and whatnot. That can juice it up, but yeah, it's nothing for me, man.
What's your best bet?
Oh shit! Taking charge. I like it. I like a man that takes charge. What's my best bet? All right. Got them all written down here. My best bet is Rinat.
What number?
Minus 200.
Okay.
I don't give a shit. It's my most confident. So, and Brito around one at $1.58. A bit better than minus 200.
I like it.
It's juice. What can I say? It's been a while since I've actually had 2 best bets. Last week I had to give fucking Trevor Peak. Horrible bet.
What are you gonna do?
These best bets are meant to be locks. So when I'm forcing it, because the cards are so bad, like last week. So I feel like I've given people locks this week. So what about yours?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't have my bets in front of me.
That's horrible. You asked me, and then
you scroll down a little bit on the Tapology page. It'll jog my memory.
I'll stay near the bottom because what's this? Oh, they moved Guram to the 3rd fight of the night. What the hell?
All right, I'm gonna take that over. I think the Guram Brener fight over 2.5. I think I got plus 110. It's sitting around even money. I'm pretty sure. I just think that I think Brenner's fine, and I think he's gonna not win minutes or rounds, but I think he's going to compete, and I don't think he's going to quit, and I don't think he's going to get knocked out. I'm going to take the over 2.5 in that fight around pick'em.
Nice, that's good, man. That's good. I don't have a strong take just because I'm wary when one guy is really hittable and it's like a skill gap, like a massive step down for Guram. I'm just thinking to myself, would Elves be able to take that big overhand right that Gamrot did? Maybe not. But yeah, that could be a good bet. You got plus money. Is that all? Anything else? Carolina is your second one?
No, yeah. I mean, I'm on Carolina. I think it's a good bet.
Done. Perfect. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Tail this man at your own risk. Parlay his top dog plays.
Luana Carolina in the parlays. Let's go.
That's it. Oh, that was fun, man. Thanks for jumping on. I assume you don't look at Cage Warriors and shit.
Nah, I don't got the time. Once in a while I will, but no, not a lot of regional tape in my life.
Dude, the card is horrible. I usually
I've heard
do
it's not good.
I give regionals at the end, and I gave Kubo and some Ryzen last week. Well, nothing, dude. Good nothing. Even the props have opened up, and they're just putrid props.
Hey man, dollar saved is dollar earned, right? Something like that.
That's it. Especially starting the second half of the year. I don't want to be doing any stupid shit.
I had a good first half, and I had a good first half last year, and then I gave it a lot back. So, yeah, I think you make a good point. Pick your spots. No need to force anything. Even if you're up, even if you're on a hot streak, if there's no bet, there's no bet. So,
you know what I've learned? The biggest loss comes after a hot streak. So
I agree.
You have to chill it out. I feel like you can't avoid it. You can't avoid it because you don't want to miss out on profit because you're scared of the big slump.
Right.
So you just have to make sure it's minimum. It's not like a fucking 7-unit slump. But I don't think any of us bet that way.
Well, tilt is a real thing. We've all been on tilt, man. And the second half of last year, I was betting on tilt for a couple months, and it was a nightmare. So you try to avoid tilt.
Bro, you don't have to tell me about tilt. My tilt started when I started the Discord, and I just felt like shutting everything down, like shutting the Discord down, and just I was looking at some full-time jobs. That's how bad it was. And then, dude, you don't understand. I was throwing money away. I was betting bets that I knew would lose because I'm like, fuck it. Like I was just that angry and upset.
Dude, I know. I've been
there. It's crazy. I haven't felt like that in years. And I was like, then I took 2 days off. It's easy to take days off when you're on tilt. Because I just didn't want to think about gambling. It was the last thing. And then I came back and made 3K on that easy Portan. But you just have to, man. Like when tilt starts, just the only way is to separate completely.
So Pepe, if you're listening or if you're watching the recording of this, Pepe, this is for you. All right. We all know you're a great gambler. You're one of the best out there, maybe the best out there for my money. You had a rough week last week, down 10 units. I know you're drinking right now because you hit me up on Instagram. Sent me a picture of your margarita. Pick your spots, Pepe. All right, don't let this spiral out of control. Get it under control. All right, pal. I love you, buddy. That's all I gotta say.
Nice. He's listening. He's my number one fan.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Abus had a toe and elbow injury in this camp from his vlogs. Okay. Well,
I think all guys get, a fight camp is so brutal. I mean, Strickland gets banged up all the time in camp. I don't like to put a lot of stock into that.
Right, here's the narrative. Maybe minor injuries, but still says a lot of his mentality to push through. Man, I guarantee you Strickland has some fucked up injury that he's fighting with.
There was that viral video a couple years ago. I forget who Strickland was training for. Of like one of his training partners, they were working in the clinch, just standing clinch, and this dude like cranked his arm, and he got super fucking pissed off because he like tweaked his shoulder. Like these things happen. You're training for a fight, these guys get banged up all the time.
That guy's dead, you know that?
That guy from that video?
Yeah, Orlando Sanchez is a ADCC champion. He passed away like a few months ago.
He was a thick fella.
Yeah, he was super heavyweight. His fights are horrible, rest in peace. But yeah, he would just lie on people with his gut. But yeah, a lot of people have died recently, man. It's crazy.
I'm gonna pull one out for Orlando in a minute.
Yeah, I'm sure Strickland's happy though, the person that he is.
Yeah.
Anyway, that should be it, man. I'm gonna get out of here.
All right, brother. Thanks for having me on. Everybody like and subscribe.
Look at this. I've got this from when Scrap was on. That's just still your Twitter, right?
Dude, are you gonna watch his fight coming up?
Yeah, man. If it's online.
It's on fight.tv on pay-per-view. I just don't know when it is. Is it in New Zealand? Like, it's going to be probably at 4 a.m. for me, but I want to watch it. So I got to ask him, like, what time?
Yeah, he will light him up. He'll be good.
Yeah.
He'll be right. All righty. Like and subscribe. Right. Oh, I forgot to call out my sponsor, my first sponsor of this podcast. It's MMA Fight Archive by MMA Lock of the Night. No, I'm talking shit. But yeah, it's way better than Tape Index. All right. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much for listening. Good luck on your bets.
Cheers, mate.